Hare Krishna, good morning, dear devotees. Vanchakalpadrivascha kripasinabhevacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna, in instructing Arjuna about how to remember him at the time of death, which was Arjuna's question to Krishna in the 8th chapter. How do we remember you at the time of death? Krishna said, Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu mama nusmarayujacha maya pita mano-buddhir mami vaishyasya samshayaha. That if you practice, or he said, therefore, always remember me and do your work. You go about your work and in your life, always remember me. And then he says that you should practice, constantly practice chanting. Abhyasa yoga yuktena teṣām yagamina paramam puruṣam divyam yati partanu chintayam. Practice remembering me. And the main practice is to chant Hare Krishna and listen. Now, without that practice, it's inevitable that we'll be manipulated by the modes of material nature. The law of entropy shows how, or dictates, that whatever system is in place will be dismantled without some momentum bringing it to a higher state, especially in the material world. It's an unstable environment. So I was thinking about what's this 6 o'clock meeting about. Somehow we established this time. And so I was like, after some time, think, well, 6 o'clock, why do we have to meet at 6 o'clock? Why do you have to meet at all? Why don't I do something else? I've got studies to do. I've got other things to look at and so forth. And, or somebody else might say, why just once a week? Is that going to make a difference? Everything makes a difference. And when you hold steady to something in the Vaidhi, and you say, I'm going to hold on to this no matter what else happens in my life, then you get tethered to Krishna rather than being pulled by the material modes of nature, which are like strong currents in a river that will sweep us away. So this is consequential that all of you have come here today and that we have this opportunity to hold on to this stake we've put in the ground and say, we come together, we chant Hare Krishna, and how else will we get revelation unless we do the process? There's a quote I think about a lot. It's amazing how much you don't get done when you're not doing something. In other words, sometimes we think about achieving a result, but we don't actually do the practice. Think about writing a paper, but you don't actually write it. So then you're in anxiety because you're not doing anything, whatever the project is. In devotional service, we may think, well, it's too lofty anyway. How will I attain it? So therefore, I just won't do anything. I'll just follow the status quo and be dragged away by the modes of material nature. So this meeting is significant. It means something. So congratulations for coming, holding forth for this process, which will, by which we will declare to Krishna, yes, we believe in what you said in the Bhagavad Gita. We believe we should practice. Abhyasa means to do something over and over again. Yoga yuktena cetasa nanyagamina. And he says, cetasa, your consciousness, ananyagamina, means you don't have anywhere else to go. You just keep your mind in this one thing. Don't be here and be somewhere else at the same time. Paramam puruṣam divyam yati partanu chintayan. By that practice, he said, then you'll attain the ultimate goal. So that's pretty good, right? I mean, it's not nothing. Krishna's giving it to us and saying, here, just do this, practice this, be here fully present. And definitively, the acharyas have said this chanting of the Maha Mantra is the main process. So let's start by chanting the Panchatattva Maha Mantra because Gaura Kripa Holy Hey. If you can get the mercy of Lord Gaur and Lord Nityananda, then hey, Gora Kripa Holy, hey, you got it. And then you can just enter into the chanting Hare Krishna, and there's no stopping you after that. Anything, you can rise to the highest level of that anyone's ever risen to here in this material world by the process of chanting Hare Krishna. It's open to everybody. Shall we? Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhaktivinoda. Happy japa. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Quick interim comment. There's no harm at all in giving your full attention to the Maha Mantra. You won't miss anything. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna. We just entered the focused five. So now concentrate on one beat at a time and ask yourself again and again if you're aware that you're chanting. And don't worry about anything else. Just practice bringing your mind back. It will go away. The mind's it's fleeting. So now for the next 5 minutes, concentrate on seeing that you bring your mind back and just be content with one thing, and that's just hearing the Maha Mantra, and be aware that you're chanting. And be aware when you're not chanting and bring it back. Focus 5, go. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. So Damayanti Devi Dasi, what was your experience of bringing your mind back to the Maha Mantra? Did you notice it was going away? And by the way, congratulations to Damayanti Devi Dasi for having accepted vows. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Raj. Thank you so much. Yeah, today was a bit hard in chanting for me. I had to bring my mind back again and again. And then I was reflecting on the Bhagavatam class that we had yesterday in Toronto. Hari Lila Prabhu from Mayapur is here, and he was sharing that how it's still easier to not identify with the body, but it is so hard to not identify with our mind and thoughts, and how it is so difficult to do that. So I was just practicing what you've taught us before about loving neglect of the mind, and I was trying to just constantly bring it back and hear the mantra. Yes, that was my experience today.
Was it helpful to remember that it's an exercise to bring your mind back to the Maha Mantra, to ask yourself, am I conscious of my chanting?
Yes, I think it's important. Sometimes when we chant, we tend to forget. Sometimes the awareness goes away. And then when you said that in Focus 5, that be very mindful of each mantra and focus on every beat very consciously, I think it helped me bring back that, okay, I have to hear the mantra, every mantra that I chant. So yes.
Thank you very much. Shweta Manjari, what's your experience with bringing your mind back to the mantra?
Hare Krishna Gurudev. These are my obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. I think my experience was similar in that my mind really thinks that there are more important things in the holy name. But one thing that was helpful was that everything will figure itself out as long as I try with my japa. So that was peaceful, and also being aware that I'm getting distracted. I'm allowing myself to be distracted. That helped me also bring back my mind a little bit. But it wanders, but I think that thing of like everything will work out as long as I'm focused on the holy name is helpful.
Doesn't it seem like that's a form of surrender when you let go and just do what you said? Feel that everything's there in the holy name. I don't have to go elsewhere. Doesn't that seem like a moment-to-moment fulfillment of Sarva Dharman Parityaja? Forget all other religious processes trying to achieve something. Just take shelter of Krishna and leave it to him.
Yes, and the moments I am doing that properly, I feel a lot lighter.
Nice. Yeah, lighter. It's just a hard swim against the current in life. We're trying to figure everything out for ourselves, feeling culpable for everything. But if we just give it to Krishna and say, I'm just going to leave it to you, I'll be mindful of you. And I already know you're mindful of everything else, including me. Thank you, Shweta Manjari. Madhuri Rani, what's your experience? You're an experienced person. You've been around, and what's it feel like for you to do this practice that you always show up for, which is sitting, chanting, bringing your mind back to the Maha Mantra?
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj. Today, it was helpful to keep bringing my mind back and I was appreciating what you mentioned in the beginning, how much we don't get done when we're not doing anything. And I was thinking about that a lot in the last 5 minutes. Every time I noticed I was, not paying attention to the mantra, bring my mind back. And I just realized I could sit here for 2 hours and chant all of my rounds and not be thinking of the mantra at all. And it felt better knowing that I was doing something when I was paying attention. I felt, okay, I'm actually doing something now. So that was helpful.
I can relate to that. We're in so much anxiety when we're disengaged and just worrying about things and how they're going to turn out. And when we're actually engaged, even if it's doing manual labor, okay, I'm worried about my environment being a mess. Well, why don't I just pick up one thing and put it away? In that moment, I feel better. And the same thing, worrying about the various situations that I'm trying to solve here in the material world, if I just leave it to Krishna in that moment, and we know it's all backed by the acharyas who just say, do this one thing, let Krishna do it. Merge your intelligence, just surrender it to him and let him take care of it. It feels good to be doing the right thing. I really liked how you put that. Thank you. Akshara Nitai, you're studying all these literatures and verses, and you have a lot of experience in the world, cruise through your education process. So what's the experience you have in chanting, just sitting and doing one thing, which is bringing your mind to Krishna in the Maha Mantra?
Um, I'm the most relieving part is understanding that when I'm thinking about just the mantra, thinking about just Krishna, Krishna has already promised that he'll take care of everything else. And so if I just lean into that, because I may not be very good with my promises, although I try to be, but I know that he's all perfect and he knows about every single thing and he can handle everything perfectly and he doesn't go back on his word in any way. So he'll handle everything that's coming, and it's especially nice when you go through a lot of anxiety filled periods to go into that. Otherwise, trying to solve that problem yourself just makes it worse. So
It's interesting. We could almost say by definition, unless we're thinking of Krishna and taking shelter of him, everything's anxiety. When we try to veer off the road and solve it ourselves, then it's seemed futile because it's us against the material nature. But when we engage by taking Krishna's help and having him inform our intelligence, Buddha Yoga, then there's no anxiety because we know loss or gain, victory or defeat, whatever it is, we know that we've done our due diligence in taking shelter of Krishna's instruction. Nicely put, Akshara Nitai. And look, we got Shweta Manjari.
Hare Krishna Gurudev. There's just something I wanted to add about taking shelter and feeling that everything will work out. So I was working at the hospital yesterday, and one of the patients I was helping take care of, she realized her cancer came back that same day. She had stage 4 brain cancer, and she was scheduled for surgery today because that was yesterday. And I asked her, "Are you afraid?" And she said, the Lord will take care of me. If he wants me home, then I'll go home. If he wants me here, then I'll stay here. And she mentioned how she like lost her parents at an early age. And then I asked, like, were you not mad that the Lord took away your parents? And then she said, I asked him for forgiveness. And just her dependence and faith that even if like things aren't going well from a material perspective, she's like, my Lord has me. And I've just seen that like in the hospital. She was Christian and with a few other Christians as well, or like religious people. Like they could be in the worst position on the brink of death. And that's the worst type of uncertainty, the scariest type. And they have so much faith in the Lord. And she said all this with a smile, like not knowing how long she'll survive. So I just think that like if they can do that there, then and she mentioned the name. She mentioned as long as you say the Lord's name, you'll be okay. So I just thought that was powerful.
Wow, that is powerful. Thank you for bringing that scenario to our minds. And you use the word brink. Brink means an extreme edge of land before a steep or vertical slope, a point at which something, typically something unwelcome, is about to happen, the verge. It reminds me of samāśritā pada-pallava-plavaṁ, mahat-padaṁ, puṇya-yaśo, murāreḥ, bhavāmbudhir, vatsa-padaṁ, paraṁ, paraṁ, vipadāṁ, teṣām. Which is, you could say, paraphrasing, don't stay on the brink, the vipadāṁ, come back under the shelter constantly and just be under Krishna's protection. Okay, we have Ritvik.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, Danvat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. What Shweta Manjari Mataji said really reminded me of Prabhupada when he was on his last days, because Prabhupada wouldn't give up on the Lord and he was still glorifying the Lord by giving a lecture on the Bhagavatam, still translating books. And this really inspires me. Like the example she gave, that also inspired me to go further in my devotional service, because there's so many devotees still ahead of us that we need to continue in our spiritual journey, which encourages us every day to push on and keep going.
Yes, thank you very much for bringing up Prabhupada's engagement to the last moment, setting an example for us. Going further, we have further means at, to, or by a greater distance, used to indicate the extent to which one thing or person is or becomes distant from another. So we want to go further away from our dependence on matter and closer to depending completely on Krishna. And we can practice it in real time by bringing our mind to this sense of shelter under the holy name. Krishna and his name are non-different. Everything can be obtained by chanting Krishna's names and just being fully conscious of him and depending on him in all circumstances and coming away from knowing that we're on a brink, and the only one that can save us is Krishna. I'm deeply grateful to all of you for not only coming here and chanting together today, but also for staying for this conversation afterwards. Please keep chanting, and throughout the day, remember that you can take shelter of Krishna at any second. It's our eternal constitutional position, and Krishna has also given his full promise. And Jiva Goswami comments on this verse, Sarvadharman Parityaja Mamikam Sharanam Vraja. He says the devotees always remember Krishna's promise that you surrender unto me, I'll take care of you. So make it your stock and trade to just surrender to Krishna at every second. Keep bringing your mind back to surrender to Krishna's great intelligence. Dear Srila Prabhupada, dear Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Shri Shri Panchatattva, Shri Shri Radha Madan Mohan, Shri Shri Lakshmi Nrsingadev. If you so desire, please bless everybody that joined Japajol today, that they may always feel the urge to surrender to Krishna and to chant Hare Krishna in a mood of humility and full dependence on the Lord. Thank you for considering my request. Om Tat Sat. Everyone agrees with this prayer in whole or in part, please leave an appropriate emoji. Hare Krishna. Pretty good. That's a pretty good parade of emojis. Vanchakoptarishya kripasinave vachapatitanam bhavanibhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Gaur Premanande Haribo. Have a great day, everybody. I'll see you soon. Hare Krishna.